Rasheeda's world was about to be turned upside down, and fans everywhere were not ready for what unfolded live on camera. It all started when tensions between Rasheeda and Jasmine, her ever-controversial co-star, reached a boiling point, and the cameras were rolling to catch every explosive moment. The scene was set, a quiet studio suddenly filled with an electric atmosphere, where whispered rumors and behind-the-scenes secrets were about to erupt in the open. Fans immediately sensed that this episode would go down in reality TV history, as emotions ran high and nothing was off-limits. Suddenly, Rasheeda's mom, a figure long rumored to hold her own opinions and a fiery temper, stepped in, her presence commanding the room and sending everyone into a mix of awe and panic. The air thickened with anticipation as Jasmine, unable to contain herself, began spilling secrets about the family allegations that would shock viewers and leave the fanbase divided. As Rasheeda watched, her expression shifted from confusion to anger to heartbreak, all in the span of minutes, while the cameras captured every dramatic reaction. The tension was palpable. Each word Jasmine uttered seemed designed to provoke, and with Rasheeda's mom in the room, the stakes had never been higher. Arguments erupted, voices cracked, and the family's private matters were laid bare for the world to see. Fans took to social media instantly, flooding timelines with disbelief and speculation. Who would emerge victorious in this battle of words? Would Rasheeda confront Jasmine, or would her mother's intervention change the course of events entirely? The drama was only beginning, and by the time the episode ended, viewers were left on the edge of their seats, desperate to know what would happen next. This was not just reality TV. This was a moment that promised to reshape relationships, reveal hidden truths, and leave fans talking for weeks. Emotions were raw, secrets were exposed, and the family's dynamic was put to the ultimate test, all unfolding live, in front of millions of shocked eyes. As cameras zoomed in on the trembling hands, the furrowed brows, and the fiery exchanges, one thing was clear. Nothing in Rasheeda's life or on reality TV would ever be the same again. ChatGap said, Rasheeda's studio was buzzing with an energy that could only be described as chaotic. The kind that makes every crew member hold their breath and every camera operator grip their equipment tighter. From the moment she arrived, fans could tell this episode would be unlike any other. Rasheeda, usually composed and in control, seemed tense, her usual charm replaced by a barely contained frustration that flickered across her face in brief, telling glances. Jasmine, on the other hand, radiated confidence and mischief, a sly smirk dancing across her lips as she surveyed the set, fully aware that today, the line between private and public would blur like never before. The tension had been building. For weeks, whispers of past conflicts and subtle digs now ready to explode into full-blown confrontation. As soon as cameras rolled, Jasmine wasted no time, leaning forward with a tone that was both teasing and cutting. Rasheeda, I think fans are ready to hear the real story, don't you think? Or maybe your mom has a few things to add too. The words hung in the air like a guillotine, sharp and inevitable. Rasheeda's mom, previously a background figure who had only made rare, cautious appearances, now stood beside her daughter, arms crossed, eyes narrowing as if daring anyone to speak out of line. She had an air of authority that demanded respect, yet it carried a palpable sense of protectiveness, a warning that anyone crossing the line would face consequences. Emotions ran high instantly as Jasmine leaned closer, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper but loud enough for cameras to catch every word. You know, I've heard things your fans don't even suspect. Family secrets, Rasheeda, things that might change how they see you forever. Rasheeda's eyes flashed with disbelief and indignation, but before she could respond, her mother's voice cut in, firm and unyielding. Enough, Jasmine. There's a line you don't cross with my daughter. If you're here to stir trouble, I suggest you think twice. The clash of personalities set the tone for what would become a battle of wills that no one, not even the production crew, could predict. Fans watching from home immediately took to social media, flooding timelines with speculations and shocked reactions. Comments like "Rasheeda's mom is savage" and "Jasmine just opened a can of worms" trended within minutes. Meanwhile, on set, Rasheeda's hands trembled slightly as she tried to maintain composure, but the storm brewing in the room was undeniable. The air felt thick with anticipation, every exchanged glance promising a revelation, every subtle gesture carrying hidden meanings. Jasmine's next words hit like a calculated punch. "Do you remember that night, Rasheeda? The one everyone thinks was private? Turns out, your fans are about to learn everything. And it's not pretty." The cameras shifted uncomfortably as the crew sensed the incoming explosion. Rasheeda's mother took a step forward, her presence commanding silence. Yet the tension between the two women was electric. "If you say one more word that isn't true, Jasmine, you'll regret it," she warned, her voice trembling with both anger and a deep-seated fear for her daughter's reputation. But Jasmine seemed unfazed, almost thrilled by the rising stakes. Her eyes sparkled with a mix of defiance and curiosity, as if daring the universe to witness the chaos she was about to unleash. Emotions ran high, with Rasheeda caught between defending herself and holding back tears as her mother stood as her shield, yet also as a force that could escalate the situation further. Fans watching live could barely keep up, their disbelief growing with each exchanged sentence. The studio felt like a pressure cooker, and it seemed inevitable that the emotional lid would blow at any moment. Jasmine continued, her voice low but biting. "It's fascinating, isn't it? How everyone thinks they know you, Rasheeda. But some truths are hidden, even from the people closest to you. Like your mom." The last words drew gasps from everyone, the accusation hovering between them like smoke. Rasheeda's mother's eyes narrowed, a flicker of something unspoken passing between her and her daughter, as if weighing the next move carefully. The first round of verbal sparring was over, but the energy in the room had shifted dramatically. There was no turning back. The moment had arrived when the cameras weren't just documenting reality, they were part of it, capturing raw, unfiltered conflict that would fuel discussions for weeks. Jasmine's relentless pursuit of drama led her to reveal tidbits that were shocking, carefully measured to destabilize Rasheeda while testing the boundaries of her mother's patience. "And what about the rumors everyone whispers but never says out loud?" she asked pointedly, letting the question hang without offering answers, knowing the implications alone would spark curiosity and fear. Rasheeda's hands clenched into fists, and her mother's expression hardened, the protective instincts kicking in. "You want to play games? Fine, but don't expect me to stay silent while you manipulate and twist things for entertainment." Her mother shot back, her voice echoing with authority and a subtle trembling that betrayed her concern. The clash of these two women created a spectacle that blurred the lines between personal grievance and public drama. Fans were hooked, glued to the unfolding chaos, many tweeting live reactions such as "This is next level drama" and "Rasheeda's mom is not here for it." Each camera angle, each zoom in on flushed cheeks or nervous glances, amplified the tension, making viewers feel as though they were witnessing a private family war unfold in real time. Then came the first real bombshell. Jasmine leaned back slightly, a wicked grin spreading across her face, and said, "You think this is just about me? Let's talk about the people around you, Rasheeda. Some friends, some family, and yes, some skeletons even your mom might want to keep buried." The revelation sent a ripple through the room. Rasheeda's mother instinctively stepped closer, a subtle protective gesture that made the audience gasp at the maternal ferocity on display. Rasheeda, meanwhile, struggled to maintain her composure, tears threatening to spill as the weight of the words sank in. The tension reached its peak when Jasmine began recounting a particularly scandalous episode, claiming that fans had been misled about a series of personal and private events, some involving people closest to Rasheeda. Every word was a calculated strike, designed to destabilize, provoke, and expose. Rasheeda's reaction was a mix of shock, anger, and betrayal, the camera capturing every nuance. Her mother, refusing to allow the situation to spiral uncontrollably, interjected with sharp authority, That's enough, Jasmine. You think exposing supposed secrets makes you powerful, but all it does is show your true character. The room seemed to vibrate with the clash of wills, each woman unwilling to back down, each word loaded with implications that would ripple far beyond the studio walls. Fans watching live were transfixed, their timelines exploding with hashtags, memes, and heated debates. Some supported Jasmine, claiming she was unveiling the truth. Others rallied behind Rasheeda, praising her mother's courage and protective instincts. Meanwhile, the production crew struggled to maintain order, the cameras capturing the raw, unscripted tension that had become the episode's focal point. Then, in a twist no one expected, Jasmine revealed a hidden connection between past events and Rasheeda's current relationships, a revelation so shocking that it left both Rasheeda and her mother momentarily speechless. The silence that followed was deafening, a collective pause where every viewer could feel the weight of the secret hanging in the air. The intensity of the moment was further amplified as Rasheeda's mother took a deep breath and addressed Jasmine directly, her voice steady but laced with emotion. "If your goal is to humiliate my daughter, you've underestimated the strength she's carried all her life. You're playing with fire." Fans erupted online, praising the mother's courage and condemning Jasmine's audacity. As the episode progressed, the confrontation escalated, emotions running high, tears flowing, and accusations flying in every direction. The family was left divided, yet strangely united in their shared shock and hurt. By the end of the first segment, it was clear that the drama was far from over, and the audience was left desperate for the next chapter. Every angle of the cameras, every reaction shot, and every whispered aside contributed to a spectacle that was as mesmerizing as it was explosive. The stakes had never been higher, and the unfolding events promised that the days following would be filled with debates, social media storms, and a fan base that could not stop talking. Rasheeda's world had been irrevocably altered, and the studio had become the epicenter of a dramatic storm that showed no signs of calming. What started as a confrontation was now a full-blown saga, with each character's emotions and secrets colliding in a symphony of tension and suspense, leaving fans on the edge of their seats, hungry for more. The tension in the studio did not subside after that explosive opening. If anything, it intensified, swirling around Rasheeda, Jasmine, and her mother like a storm that no one could control. Cameras rolled relentlessly, capturing every flinch, every sharp inhale, every subtle flicker of emotion that passed across Rasheeda's face. Jasmine, emboldened by the stunned silence, leaned in slightly and lowered her voice, but just enough for the microphones to catch every word. "You think keeping secrets protects you, Rasheeda? Sometimes silence is louder than any confession. And today, the world is finally listening." The comment was calculated, and the effect was instantaneous. Rasheeda's mother's eyes narrowed, a flicker of protective fury igniting as she stepped closer to her daughter, her body almost forming a barrier. "You will not manipulate or threaten her with lies," she said, her voice unwavering, though there was a quiver that hinted at the personal stakes she felt. Emotions ran high as fans watching live exploded across social media, posting tweets like, "Rasheeda's mom is a legend," and "Jasmine is going too far." The online audience felt like participants in the drama, their reactions adding fuel to the fire in the studio. The conversation quickly escalated when Jasmine began weaving in accounts of past interactions, moments that were once private but now exposed for the world. Her tone was both teasing and accusatory, designed to provoke Rasheeda into reacting publicly. "Remember the time you thought no one knew what happened? Everyone knows now," Jasmine said, a wicked grin on her face. The words hung in the air, heavy with implication. Rasheeda's face flushed with a mix of anger, embarrassment, and disbelief. She opened her mouth to speak but closed it again, clearly struggling to maintain control in front of the cameras and the millions of fans watching. Her mother's hand rested lightly on her arm, a gesture of both reassurance and caution, silently communicating that sometimes restraint was a weapon stronger than words. Yet the intensity was unrelenting. Jasmine's eyes gleamed with anticipation as she continued, And it's funny how some people think they can hide the truth forever. But secrets, Rasheeda, have a way of leaking when you least expect it. The studio felt like it was on edge. Every crew member aware that the next seconds could erupt into full-blown chaos. Rasheeda's mother took a deep breath, trying to regain command of the scene, and said firmly, "You're playing a dangerous game. One more false statement, one more accusation, and this stops now." But Jasmine, clearly enjoying the escalating tension, smirked and countered, "Oh, I think we're just getting started." The air was electric, the drama undeniable. Each word, each glance, each barely audible whisper contributed to a spectacle that had everyone on edge. Fans couldn't get enough, flooding timelines with reactions like, "This is the episode of the year, and I can't believe she just said that." As the verbal sparring continued, Jasmine dropped a bombshell that left everyone, including Rasheeda herself, momentarily stunned. She hinted at betrayals within the family circle, relationships that fans had never suspected, and secrets that could potentially tarnish reputations. Rasheeda's mother, usually calm and collected, stepped in with sharp authority, her voice ringing through the studio. "If you continue with this, Jasmine, you'll see consequences you didn't anticipate. This is not a game. My daughter's life is not entertainment for you to exploit." The warning only added fuel to the fire, and Jasmine, clearly enjoying the chaos, leaned back and laughed lightly, a sound that made the tension even more palpable. Consequences? The only consequence here is the truth coming out, and the fans will decide who's right and who's wrong, she said, her tone both mocking and assertive. The moment was electric. The studio was buzzing, the cameras capturing every micro-expression, every subtle tremor of emotion. Rasheeda, caught between the desire to defend herself and the fear of losing composure, struggled to find words that could counter Jasmine's calculated provocations. Her mother's presence was a buffer, a source of strength, yet also a reminder that the stakes were high. Each revelation, each insinuation from Jasmine, was like a calculated strike, forcing Rasheeda and her mother to navigate a minefield of emotion, pride, and public scrutiny. Fans were captivated, their engagement reaching fever pitch. Social media timelines exploded with opinions, memes, and shocking theories about the unfolding drama. The narrative was no longer just about two people clashing. It had expanded into a multi-layered spectacle involving family secrets, loyalty, betrayal, and the unfiltered rawness of real emotion. Then came a moment that seemed to change the trajectory of the confrontation. Jasmine, sensing a brief lapse in Rasheeda's composure, went on the offensive, revealing a particularly sensitive story that hinted at a private struggle Rasheeda had endured. "You always smile for the cameras, but behind that facade, there are moments even your closest friends don't know about. Maybe it's time everyone sees the real story." The words struck with precision, and for a moment, even, Rasheeda's mother appeared caught off guard. The emotional weight of the revelation was palpable. The cameras captured the flash of pain in Rasheeda's eyes, the tightening of her jaw, and the brief falter in her usually steady composure. Fans reacted instantly online, expressing shock, empathy, and a mixture of curiosity and outrage. The conversation continued, each exchange more intense than the last, with Jasmine pushing boundaries and Rasheeda's mother countering with authority and protective resolve. Emotions ran high, with Rasheeda herself torn between confronting the allegations and maintaining dignity in front of millions of viewers. Every sentence, every glance, every subtle gesture contributed to a narrative that was as much about performance as it was about raw emotion. The stakes escalated further when Jasmine hinted at hidden alliances and previously undisclosed tensions within the family circle, raising questions that no one in the room or watching at home could answer. Rasheeda's mother's response was immediate and commanding. "These are lies meant to provoke. We know the truth, and that's all that matters." But Jasmine, unfazed, persisted, weaving a web of insinuations that kept both Rasheeda and her mother on edge, their reactions raw and unfiltered. As the confrontation reached its midpoint, The tension in the studio was nearly unbearable. Crew members exchanged worried glances, aware that the next moments could define the episode and possibly the reputations of everyone involved. The cameras captured every heartbeat, every quiver of the lip, every sharp intake of breath, ensuring that fans at home felt as though they were sitting in the room, witnessing history unfold. Jasmine's relentless pursuit of drama finally led her to a revelation so shocking that it left both Rasheeda and her mother momentarily speechless. She alluded to actions and decisions that, if true, would have far-reaching consequences, not just for the family but for their public image and personal relationships. The silence that followed was heavy, almost tangible, as the weight of the revelation sank in. Fans online erupted, flooding social media with stunned reactions, questions, and debates about the veracity of the claims. The emotional intensity in the studio was mirrored by the virtual engagement, creating a perfect storm of suspense and intrigue. Rasheeda's mother, refusing to allow the situation to spiral further, took control once again, her voice steady but imbued with deep emotion. "You may think exposing alleged secrets gives you power, Jasmine, but what you're really showing is your own lack of integrity. This ends now." The warning was met with a defiant smirk from Jasmine, a gesture that seemed to challenge both Rasheeda and her mother, daring them to react. Emotions ran high, accusations flew, and the family's private lives were being laid bare in a way that fans had never witnessed before. By the end of the second segment, it was clear that the drama was far from over. The intensity, the stakes, and the revelations had set the stage for an unforgettable continuation. The cameras had not just recorded a confrontation, they had documented a moment in reality television that would become legendary, leaving fans desperate for the next chapter and eager to see how the story would unfold. The raw emotion, the explosive secrets, and the high-stakes drama ensured that this was a showdown no one would forget anytime soon. The confrontation showed no signs of slowing down as the third segment began, with every word, gesture, and glance amplifying the drama. Rasheeda's mother, maintaining a firm stance, could sense Jasmine pushing the boundaries further, aiming to provoke not just her daughter but the entire family dynamic. "You always present yourself as the perfect family, but how perfect is it when everyone is hiding behind smiles?" Jasmine taunted, leaning in closer to the cameras, her tone sharp yet calculated. The remark sent a wave of tension through the room. Rasheeda's cheeks flushed with a mixture of frustration and hurt, while her mother's jaw tightened, her protective instincts fully activated. The atmosphere was electric, every crew member holding their breath, aware that the slightest slip could trigger an uncontrollable outburst. Fans watching live were glued to their screens, sending hashtags trending within minutes. Comments such as "Rasheeda's mom is savage" and "Jasmine is relentless" flooded social media, amplifying the intensity of the moment. Jasmine continued, her voice dropping slightly to create suspense. "There are so many stories. People think they know, but the truth is far more complicated. And today, the world will see it all." The words carried weight, insinuating betrayals and hidden conflicts, leaving Rasheeda momentarily speechless. Her mother stepped forward, placing a steady hand on her daughter's shoulder, a subtle yet powerful signal of unity and protection. "You think airing alleged grievances makes you strong, Jasmine. What it does is reveal who you truly are," she said firmly, her eyes locked on Jasmine, unyielding in their intensity. The tension escalated further when Jasmine began hinting at a private matter involving a close family member, a revelation that immediately drew gasps from everyone present. Rasheeda's eyes widened in shock, her body tensing as she tried to process the implications. The studio seemed to shrink around them, the air heavy with anticipation and suspense, every camera angle capturing the raw emotion and the mounting stakes. Jasmine, sensing the impact of her words, pressed on, her tone both teasing and confrontational. "Everyone has their secrets, Rasheeda, even the people closest to you. And sometimes it's those we trust the most to have the most to hide." The comment struck a nerve, and Rasheeda's mother interjected with unwavering authority. "If your goal is to destabilize, You've underestimated the strength and resilience of this family. We will not be manipulated. The verbal sparring reached a crescendo as Jasmine revealed yet another shocking detail, one that suggested past conflicts had deeper roots than anyone had imagined. The revelation left both Rasheeda and her mother momentarily stunned, their emotions raw and exposed. Fans watching at home erupted online, sharing theories, expressing outrage, and debating the authenticity of the claims. The studio became a stage for emotional theatrics, with each participant navigating a delicate balance between confrontation and control. Rasheeda, struggling to maintain composure, finally spoke, her voice tinged with both anger and vulnerability. "Jasmine, you think this makes you powerful? All it does is show how much you enjoy stirring chaos at the expense of others." Her words hung in the air, resonating with authenticity and momentarily silencing Jasmine. But the pause was brief. Jasmine's smirk returned, her eyes gleaming with mischief. "Chaos? Maybe. But truth? That's something you can't control." The studio was electric with tension, the conflict escalating into a dramatic showdown that kept everyone on edge. As the exchange continued, Rasheeda's mother revealed her own perspective, shedding light on past incidents that had been misunderstood or misrepresented. Her voice, steady yet emotionally charged, added layers of complexity to the narrative, challenging Jasmine's version of events while defending her daughter's reputation. What you see on the surface doesn't always reflect reality. We have lived these experiences, faced these challenges, and come through stronger. Your version doesn't change that, she said, her gaze unwavering. Jasmine, unfazed by the rebuttal, continued to push boundaries, hinting at hidden tensions and unresolved issues within the family. The implication that there were deeper secrets created a ripple of suspense, keeping both the studio and the audience captivated. Rasheeda, visibly emotional, struggled to respond, torn between defending her privacy and addressing the public nature of the confrontation. Her mother's presence provided a buffer, yet it also heightened the stakes, emphasizing the protective and confrontational elements of the situation. Fans watching live were transfixed, their reactions a mix of empathy, outrage, and curiosity. Social media erupted with posts, tweets, and live reactions as viewers debated the unfolding drama, predicting outcomes and expressing disbelief at the escalating conflict. The tension reached its peak when Jasmine insinuated that certain family members had been deceptive or dishonest, raising questions about trust and loyalty. Rasheeda's mother's response was immediate and authoritative. "Allegations without proof are nothing more than slander. We have integrity, and that is something you cannot tarnish with words alone," she stated firmly, her voice resonating with conviction. The verbal confrontation intensified as Jasmine attempted to challenge this stance, presenting her own interpretation of past events. The discussion became a high-stakes duel of words, with each side attempting to assert dominance while maintaining credibility in the eyes of the audience. Rasheeda's emotional state oscillated between frustration, disbelief, and hurt, her vulnerability adding depth to the spectacle. The cameras captured every nuance, every fleeting expression, ensuring that the audience felt the intensity of the moment as though they were present in the studio. Then came a moment that shifted the dynamic entirely. Jasmine revealed a past incident that cast a shadow over current relationships, suggesting that unresolved conflicts had influenced recent decisions and actions. The revelation was a bombshell, momentarily silencing both Rasheeda and her mother. The weight of the disclosure hung in the room, creating a palpable tension that resonated with viewers. Fans online erupted, their feeds inundated with shocked reactions, speculation, and theories about the implications. The narrative had expanded beyond a simple confrontation, evolving into a complex interplay of family dynamics, hidden truths, and public scrutiny. Rasheeda's mother, regaining composure, addressed the revelation directly, her voice steady but imbued with emotion. "The past cannot define us if we learn from it. Attempts to manipulate perception will fail because we know our truth, and that is unshakable." Jasmine, refusing to concede, pressed on, teasing additional hints of secrets yet to be revealed. The studio was a cauldron of suspense and emotion, every moment a carefully orchestrated dance of confrontation and revelation. Rasheeda, feeling both exposed and empowered, responded with a mix of vulnerability and strength. "You may try to rewrite the story, but the real narrative is ours to tell, and it won't be dictated by anyone else," she declared, her voice resolute. The exchange set the stage for an emotional climax, with every participant balancing the desire for vindication against the fear of public misinterpretation. Fans watched, enthralled, as the drama unfolded in real time, their reactions a testament to the compelling nature of the conflict. The combination of raw emotion, shocking revelations, and high-stakes confrontation created a spectacle that was impossible to look away from. By the end of the third segment, it was clear that the story was far from over. The intensity, the revelations, and the complex interplay of personalities ensured that viewers were left desperate for the final chapter. The drama had reached a crescendo, leaving both the studio and the audience on edge, eagerly anticipating how the confrontation would ultimately resolve. Every glance, every word, every pause contributed to a narrative that was as gripping as it was unpredictable, cementing the episode as a landmark moment in reality television history. As the final segment began, the energy in the studio had reached a fever pitch. The confrontation that started as verbal sparring had evolved into an intricate web of accusations, revelations, and emotional confessions that left everyone both on set and watching at home on edge. Rasheeda's mother, standing tall and unwavering, had become more than just a protective figure. She was now a central force in the drama, a stabilizing presence and a fierce defender simultaneously. Jasmine, sensing the shift, leaned forward with a glint in her eye, ready to push the boundaries even further. "You know, it's fascinating how people think they understand a family," Jasmine said, her tone dripping with both mockery and intrigue. "But the truth is messy, complicated. And today, everyone will see just how messy it really is." Her words sent ripples through the room, and Rasheeda's jaw tightened, a flash of pain crossing her face. The cameras captured every subtle reaction, the tightening of her fists, the quick swallow, the brief but telling look exchanged between mother and daughter. Fans online erupted with live reactions, hashtags trending within minutes. "Rasheeda's mom is pure fire. Jasmine is ruthless. And this episode is everything," scrolled across timelines as viewers tried to process the unfolding drama. Jasmine pressed on, dropping hints about private disagreements and past misunderstandings that no one outside the family had known. Each insinuation was crafted to provoke, each revelation timed for maximum impact. Sometimes she whispered, leaning slightly toward the camera, "The people you trust the most are the ones who shape your secrets, your fears, and your decisions, and not always for the better." Rasheeda's mother, her eyes flashing with protective fire, stepped closer, her voice steady but laced with unshakable authority. "You think exposing supposed secrets gives you power? What it really shows is your disregard for truth and decency. My daughter's life is not a stage for your theatrics." The clash of personalities was magnetic. Every glance, every gesture, feeding into the tension. The studio itself seemed to hum with suspense, as if aware that history was being made in that very moment. Then came a moment that would become a pivotal turning point in the confrontation. Jasmine, sensing a brief hesitation, revealed a scandalous detail that implicated not only Rasheeda but also a close family confidant, shaking the dynamics of trust within the family circle. Gasps echoed through the room, and even the crew paused momentarily, recognizing the gravity of the revelation. Rasheeda, usually composed under pressure, felt the weight of the world pressing down. Tears threatened to fall, but she held her ground, her mother's presence providing the strength to endure. "Your attempts to manipulate and provoke will not succeed," her mother said firmly, her voice cutting through the tension like steel. Jasmine, refusing to relent, tilted her head and smirked. "Oh, but the world loves this kind of drama, and they deserve to know the real story, don't they?" The words were a challenge, a gauntlet thrown directly at Rasheeda and her family. The room held its collective breath as the exchange intensified, every word a carefully chosen strike, every glance a strategic move. Fans watching online were spellbound, reacting with shock, outrage, and empathy. Social media feeds exploded, with discussions dissecting every aspect of the confrontation, debating the authenticity of the claims, and rooting for their favorite party in the drama. Emotions ran high as Jasmine delved into past incidents, revealing moments that were previously misunderstood or hidden from the public eye. Each revelation brought new layers of complexity to the narrative, keeping the tension high and the audience captivated. Rasheeda, balancing the dual pressures of defending her reputation and managing her emotions, finally spoke, her voice trembling but resolute. "You may think unveiling alleged secrets empowers you, Jasmine, but strength comes from integrity, resilience, and the people who stand by you through it all." Her words, though measured, carried a powerful weight, echoing through the studio and resonating with viewers at home. Jasmine, clearly enjoying the escalating drama, leaned back, her eyes glinting with mischief. Integrity? Resilience? Let's see how long that holds when the world knows what really happened behind closed doors. The verbal duel continued, each participant unwilling to yield, their emotions raw and unfiltered. The intensity of the exchange was heightened further when Jasmine hinted at additional hidden tensions within the family, raising questions about loyalty, trust, and the true nature of past events. Rasheeda's mother, unflinching, countered with unwavering authority. "Allegations without proof are meaningless. We know our truth, and nothing you say can change that." The studio atmosphere was electric, every crew member and participant acutely aware that they were witnessing a defining moment in reality television. The conversation spiraled into personal territory, with Jasmine challenging Rasheeda on choices made in the past, decisions that had been private but now laid bare under the scrutiny of cameras and millions of viewers. Rasheeda's emotional response was a mixture of hurt, anger, and defiance. Her mother's presence was both a shield and a source of strength, allowing her to navigate the verbal onslaught without collapsing. Fans online were captivated, dissecting each exchange, predicting outcomes, and debating who was in the right. Social media was ablaze with comments, theories, and reactions, creating a virtual echo chamber that amplified the tension within the studio. Then came the climactic twist. Jasmine revealed a connection between past and present conflicts that no one had anticipated, suggesting that unresolved issues had been influencing relationships, decisions, and perceptions for years. The revelation was a bombshell, leaving Rasheeda momentarily speechless, her mother's protective instinct flaring as she processed the implications. The studio fell into a tense silence, the weight of the moment palpable. Fans at home erupted online, their feeds inundated with shocked reactions, speculation, and theories about the meaning and consequences of the revelation. Rasheeda's mother regained control, addressing the revelation with a mix of authority and emotion. "The past does not define us. Attempts to manipulate perception will fail because we know our truth. And that is unshakable," she said, her gaze steady and unwavering. Jasmine, refusing to concede, continued to tease additional hints of secrets yet to be revealed, ensuring that suspense remained at its peak. Rasheeda, feeling both exposed and empowered, responded with a mixture of vulnerability and strength. "The story of my life, my family, and my choices is ours to tell. No one else can dictate it." The words resonated deeply, setting the stage for an emotional resolution while leaving the audience on edge. As the final moments of the confrontation unfolded, the intensity did not diminish. Each participant balanced the desire for vindication against the risk of public misinterpretation, navigating a high-stakes landscape of emotion, perception, and reality television theatrics. Fans watched, enthralled as every glance, every word, and every pause contributed to a narrative that was both gripping and unpredictable. By the conclusion of the fourth segment, it was clear that this episode would be remembered as a landmark moment in reality TV history. The raw emotion, shocking revelations, and high-stakes drama ensured that viewers were left desperate to see the aftermath, eager to discuss, dissect, and debate every detail of what they had witnessed. Rasheeda's mother had not only defended her daughter but had also become an integral part of the spectacle, her presence adding authority, emotion, and depth to the unfolding drama. The confrontation had transformed from a simple clash into a multi-layered narrative involving secrets, trust, betrayal, and resilience, leaving both the studio and the audience captivated. The cameras had not merely recorded an argument, they had documented a moment of human emotion, conflict, and resolution that would reverberate through social media, fan communities, and the reality TV world for weeks to come. Fans were left in suspense, wondering how the story would continue beyond the cameras, who would emerge stronger, and what secrets might still be revealed. The stakes were high, the drama unforgettable, and the episode had cemented its place as one of the most talked about confrontations in recent reality television history. Rasheeda's explosive episode had reached its dramatic conclusion, yet the echoes of what transpired reverberated far beyond the studio walls, leaving fans clamoring for closure and analysis. The intensity of the confrontation, punctuated by Jasmine's relentless revelations and Rasheeda's mother's fierce protective presence, had created a spectacle that no one could ignore. Emotions ran high, with viewers empathizing with Rasheeda's vulnerability while simultaneously marveling at her mother's unwavering composure and strategic interjections. Every twist, every insinuation, every carefully timed revelation had kept the audience on the edge of their seats, leaving them desperate for more. Social media exploded with reactions, debates, and theories as fans dissected every micro-expression, every hesitation, and every word exchanged on screen. Comments flooded in, ranging from support for Rasheeda's resilience to critiques of Jasmine's audacity, creating a vibrant, feverish discussion that seemed to engulf the digital world. The episode had done more than entertain. It had captured raw human emotion, exposed hidden layers of family dynamics, and ignited a public conversation about trust, loyalty, and personal boundaries. Viewers were left pondering critical questions. How much of what was revealed was true? Could these family tensions be resolved? Would Jasmine continue to push boundaries in future episodes? The unresolved nature of the conflict created an irresistible allure, ensuring that fans would remain engaged and invested, discussing every implication and predicting future confrontations. As the dust settled, it was clear that this episode was more than just a moment of entertainment. It was a cultural touchstone within the reality TV landscape, demonstrating the power of human emotion, confrontation, and the complexities of familial relationships. The story had left an indelible mark, captivating audiences and sparking conversations that would extend well beyond the original broadcast. This was not merely a televised argument, it was a profound exploration of loyalty, truth, and the raw, unfiltered complexities of family life played out on a public stage. Leaving fans eager for the next chapter in Rasheeda's unfolding saga, the storm that unfolded in Rasheeda's latest episode has left fans absolutely stunned, with emotions running higher than ever before. From Jasmine's shocking revelations to Rasheeda's mother stepping in to fiercely protect her daughter, the episode delivered every element of high-stakes drama that reality TV audiences live for. Questions now swirl in the minds of viewers. What truths were really revealed? How will Rasheeda and her family navigate the aftermath of such explosive exposure? Will Jasmine push the boundaries even further in upcoming episodes? The intensity of the confrontation and the raw display of emotion have ensured that this moment will be talked about for weeks, if not months, keeping everyone glued to their screens and social media buzzing with speculation. As fans debate every detail, from subtle glances to pointed remarks, it becomes clear that reality television is not just about entertainment, it's about witnessing human relationships unfold in their most unfiltered, unpredictable, and intense forms. Now, it's your turn to weigh in. What do you think about the shocking secrets revealed on camera? Do you side with Rasheeda, her protective mother, or Jasmine's audacious approach? Drop your thoughts in the comments and join the conversation. that everyone is talking about. And if you want to stay updated on all the drama, the behind-the-scenes scoops, and the latest twists in Rasheeda's saga, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what happens next. Your opinions matter, your voice counts, and this story is far from over. Join us as the drama continues to unfold, keeping you on the edge of your seat every step of the way.